Now, as the umpires meet at home plate with Wes Westrom and Richie Allen to exchange the batting order slips for the lineups and batting orders on tonight's game, let's check in with Ralph Kainer.
Thank you, Bob Murphy. The leadoff batter for the Mets will be the shortstop, Bud Harrelson. Batting second and playing center field, Cleon Jones. Batting third and playing third base, Ken Boyer. Batting cleanup and playing left field, Tommy Davis. Batting fifth and playing first base, Ed Kranepool. Batting sixth and playing right field, Tommy Reynolds. Batting seventh and playing second base, Gary Buchek. Batting eighth and catching, Jerry Grody. And the pitcher, Bob Henley, will be batting in the ninth position. For the Philadelphia Phillies, Tony Taylor will lead off. Tony will be at first base. Batting second and playing shortstop, Gary Sutherland. Batting third and playing third base, Richie Allen. And now right here from Connie Mack Stadium, our national anthem. National anthem from Philadelphia on a beautiful evening for baseball at 76 degrees. For the Philadelphia Philly lineup, the leadoff batter, Tony Taylor, playing first base. Batting second and playing shortstop, Gary Sutherland. Batting third and playing third base, Richie Allen. Batting fourth and playing in center field, Don Locke. Batting fifth and catching, Gene Oliver. Batting sixth and playing right field, John Callison. Batting seventh and playing second base, Cookie Rojas. Batting eighth and playing left field, Tony Gonzalez. And the pitcher, Larry Jackson, batting ninth. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated and the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Chrysler Plymouth Dealers Association, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, the Mets starting off here in a three-game series, and they are starting off against one of the toughest pitchers they have ever faced in the National League. Larry Jackson. Larry beat them the very first ball game that he ever pitched against the Mets back in 1962, and the Mets have yet to defeat him. He has beaten the Mets 17 times. Bob Henley on the mound for the Mets, making his first start for New York, and also his first start in quite some time. Bob acquired from the Chicago Cubs, a left-hander with a tough job of pitching against Larry Jackson. And right now for the play-by-play, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Conner, and hello, everybody. It's Bud Harrelson in the leadoff now for the New York Mets. Switch hitting shortstop, batting left against the veteran right-hander. And Harrelson has a season's batting average of .249. In the month of June, he has hit .282. He has 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 8 runs batted in. Larry Jackson looks down to catcher Gene Oliver for a sign. Takes a sign with his hands on his knees, bending from the weight, both feet on the rubber. Starts to work. And the pitch is low for a ball. Tony Vincent, the umpire behind the plate. Paul Pryor is at first, Bob Engel is at second, and Tom Gorman is around at third. Third baseman Richie Allen is in on the edge of the grass. And it's in for a called strike. 1-1 now to Bud Harrelson with Cleon Jones waiting on deck for the New York Mets. Mets came down to Philadelphia from Shea Stadium by bus this afternoon. to open up this 3-game series. Here's a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and looped out into left field. And coming on is Gonzalez, and he makes the catch for the out. Tony Gonzalez, the left fielder, moving in for the grab. There's one away, and now Cleon Jones is coming up. Jones is hitting 164. Got off to a horrible start this year at the plate. In the month of June, he is batted at a clip of 260. So his overall batting average is 164 with 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. Right-hand batter facing right-hand pitcher Larry Jackson. Jackson, 36 years of age, from Boise, Idaho. And the pitch is in for a called strike. Jackson has compiled his record of 17 wins and no losses against the Mets while he was in the uniform of the St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago Cubs, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Strike one delivery, hit on the ground, up the middle, and it is Jerry Sullivan over at the bag, and he throws to first to Taylor in time. 2 away. Ken Boyer is the batter, the Mets third baseman. Hitting .221. 5 doubles, 1 triple, and 4 runs batted in. Boyer's a right-hand batter. It was the night of April 11th, 1962, that the New York Mets played their first National League game ever in St. Louis against the Cardinals, and Larry Jackson was the Cardinal pitcher who was the winner that night. Roger Craig was the Met loser. Here is a pitch low for a ball. Starting this season, Juan Marichal of the San Francisco Giants had a record of 17 wins and no losses lifetime against the Mets. Marichal has won twice this season, so his record has gone to 19 wins and no losses. Don Drysdale has beaten the Mets more than anybody else. He has won 20 games, but the Mets have beaten Drysdale 3 times. Swing and a fly ball into left field, and Gonzalez drifts over. He's underneath, and he makes the catch. So the side is out with no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. In the middle of the first, the score is the Mets nothing, and the Phillies coming to bat.
Have you heard what's going on at Gulf service stations? It's Big Tire Days at Gulf. And one of the big tire values now being featured by Gulf dealers is the Gulf Cruisemaster tire. The Gulf Cruisemaster, the puncture sealing tire that's super tough and super safe. The fine quality Gulf Cruisemaster costs only a few dollars more than ordinary tires. And remember, when you buy Gulf tires with a Gulf travel card, there's no down payment, no carrying charges, and months to pay. Big Tire Days are going on at Gulf. Get in on them.
Ralph, the public address announcer, was just asking the fans along the left and right field foul lines to remove their coats from the railing, and the way he started wording it, I thought we were going to get a repeat of Tex Rickard's famous announcement at Ebbets Field, requesting the fans please to remove their clothing.
Old Tex was something else again at Ebbets Field. We certainly missed hearing that voice of his over that PA system, and he was really part of the landscape there at that great ballpark.
It's Bob Henley on the mound for the New York Mets. As Ralph Kiner said, it's the first time he started in a long, long time. We were talking to him before the ball game tonight, and he wasn't exactly sure when he last started. He thought it might have been last August when he was with the Chicago Cubs. Certainly hasn't started this year with the Cubs. He had a record of 2 wins and no losses. Henley is 28 years of age, 6 feet 3 inches tall, 195-pounder from Macon, Georgia. Against the Phillies this year with the Cubs, he won 1 and lost none. Tony Taylor, the first baseman, is up. The first pitch is in for a called strike. Taylor's hitting .292, 1 home run and 15 runs batted in. Bob Henley has a lifetime record against the Phillies of 6 wins and 4 losses. Right-hand batter facing a left-hand pitcher. And a tie, 1-1. Henley defeated the Phillies in relief on June 5th on behalf of the Chicago Cubs. And a 1-1 delivery. High and away for a ball. Henley was obtained by the Mets from the Chicago Cubs in exchange for Rob Gardner and John Stevenson. For the Phillies, Gary Sutherland is waiting on deck. Sutherland playing shortstop. This is a 2-1 pitch to Tony Taylor. And it's hit on the ground through the middle into center field for a base hit. Leon Jones over, bare hands the ball, plays it back. Tony Taylor turns and holds with a ground single up the middle. And the Phillies have a base runner. Now Gary Sutherland. He's hitting .278. He has 9 runs batted in. He is the brother of Darrell Sutherland, who is in the Met organization. Darrell was with the Phillies before being obtained by the Mets. And this pitch is in for a called strike. Phillies, of course, have been hard hit on the injury side this year. Bill White, you'll recall, pulled a hamstring muscle and then re-injured it on the first day of spring training. And he has since pulled a muscle in the other leg, which has had him hobbled. There's a swing and a foul ball back and out of play. Bill White, however, is here, and he is in uniform. He took batting practice. Dick Grote was out for a long stretch with an inflammation of the foot, which really was much worse than he or anybody else expected it to start. And Grote is back. He's in uniform. He took batting practice, but he didn't appear to run too well, Ralph.
He certainly didn't. He worked out before the ball game, and he was in bad shape.
So Gary Sutherland is the shortstop here tonight, right-hand batter, and this is a 2-strike delivery from Bob Henley. And it's in for a call, strike 3. So Henley gets a strikeout as he threw one by Sutherland, caught him looking. Taylor holds it first, and that will bring up Richie Allen.
One of the Philly ball players, in talking about Bill White, said the only way that you could score him from second base would be with a home run.
Yes, I think Bill has a lot of trouble moving. But he still wants to get up there and swing that bat when possible. With one away, it's Richie Allen at the plate. Hitting .321 with 8 homers and 29 runs batted in. Here's a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. Rainpool is over to hold against the runner, Tony Taylor. Don Hoke is on the coaching lines at first base for the Phils. And George Myatt is the Philly coach around at third base. Now again, Taylor takes a good lead at first. Left-hander Bob Henley has the sign. Strike 1 pitch to Richie Allen, high and away. It's 1-1. Bob Henley came to the major leagues with the Milwaukee Braves. Was traded to the San Francisco Giants, on to the Chicago Cubs, and recently to the Mets. With the Mets, Henley is wearing number 33. This is a 1-1 pitch. Swung on it in the air toward the scoreboard in right center field, way back there, and it is off the scoreboard in play. Tony Taylor is rounding third, and he's on his way home. Allen's on his way to third. The relay gets away in the center of the diamond, finally picked up by Cranepool near the third base line. It's a triple and a run batted in, and the Phils lead by a score of 1-0. A triple off the scoreboard, high off the scoreboard, in right center field for Richie Allen. A run batted in, his 30th of the year. The Phils lead 1-0. There's one away. Don Locke, the center fielder, is coming up. Hitting .301 for the season, 5 home runs and 25 runs batted in. He's a right-hand batter. Let's bring the infield in now to try to choke off the possible run at the plate. Here's the pitch in for a strike to Don Locke.
To give you some sort of an idea how far that ball was hit by Allen, a right-hand batter, only 2 balls have been hit over that scoreboard on the left-hand side of the clock, and that ball hit about 5 feet below the top of the scoreboard, and he's a right-hand batter. Covington and McCovey were the 2 that hit it over there, left-handed.
Here's a swing and a foul ball off and out of play. A 2-strike count to Don Locke, obtained from the Washington Senators by the Philadelphia Phils. Darrell Knowles, a relief pitcher, was the man who went from the Phils to Washington in that deal. Count has gone to 2 strikes on Locke. Henley works straight away, and the pitch is inside. It's 1-2. Henley looks for the sign, taken from catcher Jerry Grody. 1-2 offering. He checked the swing and laid off. Took the pitch high, and it's 2-2. Locke started to go and held up. Now he comes back into the batter's box. Gene Oliver is on deck. Two-two delivery. Inside, so it's out full now. It's 3-2 to Locke. The Phillies are leading by a score of 1-0. This is a payoff pitch. And it's hit deep to left field. It's going, and it's gone for a home run into the upper deck. A 2-run homer for Don Locke. Richie Allen comes across the plate. Locke is coming around with his 6th home run of this season. The Phillies lead by a score of 3-0. Don Locke gave that ball a ride into the upper deck in left field. So with 1 away and nobody on base, Gene Oliver comes up. Phillies 3, Mets nothing. Oliver is hitting .288. He has a 7-game hitting streak going. He's had 7 home runs and 15 runs batted in this year. The pitch is in for a called strike. Oliver came to the Phillies from the Atlanta Braves in exchange for catcher Bob Uecker. And the pitch, low for a ball. Count of 1-1 to the right-hand batter. Here's a pitch high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Johnny Callison has moved out on deck now. The National League at the end of an inning, the Chicago Cubs nothing and the Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. Joe Niekro against Steve Blass. 2-1 delivery. Low. Henley goes behind 3-1. The league-leading St. Louis Cardinals are at the Astrodome against Houston tonight in the latest start. The Atlanta Braves are on the coast at Dodger Stadium against the Dodgers in the latest start. Second place Cincinnati Reds are at San Francisco against the Giants in a latest start. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Low, it's a walk. Issued to Gene Oliver. The first given up by Henley. It's a runner on at first with 1 man out, and it brings up right fielder Johnny Callison, who's a left-hand batter. Callison's hitting .280. He has 8 home runs and 33 runs batted in. And we're going to get a little action down in the Met bullpen. Right-hander Dick Selma hustles out to start throwing. Dick Selma throwing in the Met bullpen. Grody called time, went out for a word with Henley. Grainsville plays behind the runner at first, 1 away. Phillies 3 and the Mets nothing. In for a called strike. The American League at the end of an inning. The Boston Red Sox nothing, the New York Yankees nothing. Gary Bell against Mel Stottlemyre. First game of a twilight doubleheader in Cleveland at the end of 7.5 innings. The Cleveland Indians 5 and the Kansas City A's 1. Jim Nash started for Kansas City. Diego Segui in the 8th. Luis Tiant going for Cleveland. Lee Mays, Phil Roof, Luis Tiant have had home runs in that ball game. Pitch to Callison. It's high. 1-1. The Washington Senators are at Chicago against the league-leading White Sox in the latest start. The end of an inning, the California Angels nothing, Detroit Tigers nothing. Jack Hamilton is pitching for the California Angels. Johnny Padres for the Detroit Tigers. Minnesota Twins and the Baltimore Orioles are not scheduled. Right here, the Phils 3 and the Mets nothing. Phils batting the bottom half of the first inning. Oliver leads at first, and this is a 1-1 pitch to the left-hand batter, Johnny Callison. It's high, and it's 2-1. Brody steps out in front of the plate and fires the ball back to Bob Henley, getting his first start as a New York Met. Phils and the Mets will be playing here again tomorrow night and Thursday night. It's a 3-game series. It's a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. 2-2. It's the first time the Mets have been in Philadelphia since mid-April. The Mets opened the Phils' home season here. That was a weekend series, 3 games, and the Phils swept it with complete game performances from Chris Short, Larry Jackson, and Jim Bunning. Generally, Bunning is scheduled to pitch tomorrow night for the Phils, and Jack Fisher is scheduled to go for the Mets. This is a 2-2 pitch, and it's low. Out full at 3-2. Rick Wise is scheduled to be the Philly pitcher here on Thursday, and they're going to get Chris Short back off the disabled list. So Short won't be pitching in this series against the Mets, but he is due to pitch later in the week for the Phils. 1 man out. Oliver takes his lead at first base. He's running, and here's a pitch that swung on and hit foul back at first. With 1 away, Oliver was moving on the 3-2 delivery. So he comes back to first, and the count holds at 3-2 to John Callison, with Cookie Rojas waiting on deck. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Grody throws to second. Harrelson tags Oliver. A strikeout double play, and the side is retired. Second strikeout for Henley as he got Callison swinging on the 3-2 pitch. Grody down to Harrelson, 262 scoring on the second part of the double play. The Phils got 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and none left. The score at the end of an inning is the Phillies 3 and the Mets nothing. And here's Ralph Kiner.
I'd like to remind you that the revised edition of the 1967 Met Yearbook is now available by mail. To get your copy by mail, send 65 cents, 50 cents plus 15 cents for the handling charges to Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. The zip is 11368. That's Met Yearbook, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. In addition to the features of the first edition, it includes candid pictures of opening day, pictures and playing records of Jerry Buchek, Ed Charles, and Bob Johnson, as well as all the other Mets. So some interesting facts condensed into a fact book, plus plenty of good pictures of the Mets around about. Also their wives, also some other entertaining pictures of what has been taking place at Shea Stadium throughout the first 5 years and part of this season. Get your copy. Be a good idea. Moving now to the top of the second, the Mets coming up for the second time, and once again, Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Ralph Kiner. It'll be Tommy Davis to lead off for the New York Mets here in the top half of the second inning. Scheduled up in the inning, Tommy Davis, Ed Kranepool, and Tommy Reynolds. Evidently, the Mets have Chuck Hiller and Ron Swoboda on the semi-invalid list. Both were injured Sunday at Shea Stadium, but both are here. Both are available for possible pinch hitting duty, but neither is able to move well enough for duty in the starting lineup. Both were in uniform for pregame drills. Tommy Davis, hitting .310, has 8 home runs and 33 runs batted in. Larry Jackson winds and fires. The pitch is inside for a ball. Met pitcher Don Cardwell was in uniform tonight before the ball game and did some throwing. Said that he threw just about as hard as he would on the first day of spring training, and that he suffered no ill effects that he knew of. There's a swing and a fly ball to right center field back toward the scoreboard, and this one is off the scoreboard and in play, and Tommy Davis moves into second with a double. It is his 18th double of this season. Ties him for the league lead with Orlando Cepeda. So Tommy Davis has crashed his 18th double of this season off the scoreboard in right field, off the base of the scoreboard. And he is tied with Orlando Cepeda for the National League lead in 2-base hits. Ed Craneville is the batter. He's hitting .310. He has 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Craneville's a left-hand batter. Larry Jackson checks now. The pitch is swung on it. Hit in the air to center field. Don Locke is there. He makes the catch. Tommy Davis tags, comes off 2 steps, holds. The relay comes into third base. No advance. One away, and now Tommy Reynolds is coming up. Playing right field here tonight. His last 10 times at bat, he's had 5 hits. Season's average .213, 2 homers, and 3 runs batted in. He was the hero of the Mets' first game victory over the Chicago Cubs at Shea Stadium on Sunday when he hit a 10th inning game-winning home run over the left field fence. Reynolds' other home run came here at Connie Mack Stadium in that first weekend. Swinging a ground ball to second. Rojas up, placed to Tony Taylor. And there are 2 Mets out in the top of the second. Now Jerry Buchek. He's hitting .237 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Buchek has gone hitless in his last 15 times at bat. Pitch is tight, and Buchek spins around and goes down into the dirt. It's ball 1. We'll be on the air tomorrow night at 8 p.m. from Connie Mack Stadium here in Philadelphia with radio and television coverage tomorrow night. After the Philadelphia series, the Mets move on down to Atlanta for the weekend, returning to Shea Stadium next Monday night against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Swing and a foul ball back at first. Out of play. 1-1 to Buchek. With 2 men out, Tommy Davis at third base. A 1-1 pitch. Bunted on and fouled off. Buchek trying to bunt his way on board. Fouled it right down into the batter's box and ran into it there. So the count is 1-2. So far this season, Larry Jackson with the Phillies has won 4 games and lost 7. Last year, he had a record of 15 wins and 15 losses. The 1-2 pitch. In there for a called strike 3. Jackson gets his first strikeout as he catches Buchek looking. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. In the middle of the second, the score is the Phillies 3, the Mets nothing.
Whether you're buying your first or 10th car, it's time you become a smart car buyer and join the ranks of the thousands of satisfied customers who shop Armory Garage, Central at Colwyn, Albany. Here are the 3 basic rules for the smart car buyer. Select a model you want, and then 1, compare quality. Armory Garage boasts the largest selection of quality-tested late-model used cars in the area. 2, compare service. Armory's expert mechanics are qualified to service all the cars on the Armory lot. 3, compare price. Armory's tremendous volume assures you more for your car-buying dollar. Be a wise car buyer. Drive into Armory Garage and talk over your used car needs with sales manager Art Neat. Let him introduce you to Armory's easy terms. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. Your credit is wealth at Armory. Follow the wise car buyer to Armory Garage, Central at Colwyn, Albany.
bottom half of the second inning. It'll be Cookie Rojas coming up to lead off for the Phils. He's hitting .207. 2 home runs, 21 runs batted in. Bob Henley takes the sign. And the pitch. High and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Tony Gonzalez is on deck. Rojas batting number 7 in manager Gene Mock's Philadelphia lineup. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to short. Taken by Harrelson across the first. In time, and he's out, and we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Join me on the Leon Kelly Show weekdays, 6:35 till 12 midnight on the big bright sound of WGY Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia. Tony Gonzalez is coming up. He's hitting .327. He has 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in. Left-hand batter facing a left-hand pitcher. Bob Henley starts to work. The pitch is low for a ball. Phillies are leading by a score of 3-0. One-0 delivery. Swung on and was slammed into center field for a base hit. Leon Jones scoops it up, plays it back. Gonzalez turns and holds. Hit number 4 for the Phils off Bob Henley. Comes with 1 man out here in the second inning. And Larry Jackson's the batter. Been up 38 times this year and had 6 hits. He's batting .158. Cranepool holds against the runner. Gonzalez at first. Ball is bunted up into the air, taken by Grody. A throw to first, not in time. Taylor's back safely. So Jackson, trying to sacrifice, instead has popped it up into the air to catch a Grody, who took it in foul territory, back of the plate. Wheeled and fired to Cranepool, not in time to get Taylor, who slid back in safely. 2 away, and not in time to get Gonzalez. Taylor is coming up. He's been up 1 time, singled, and later scored. Gonzalez, the runner at first. Cranepool still holding against the runner. And the pitch is low for a ball. Bob Henley has struck out 2 and walked 1. Taylor swings the bat as he waits. Runner goes, pitches in the dirt, and it goes by about a foot as it's knocked down by Grody. It scored as a stolen base, and it's the third for Gonzalez. With Gonzalez, the runner, going on the pitch, it was in the dirt in front of the plate, and Grody tried to scoop it out, blocked it, and it ended up about a foot behind him. No play made on Gonzalez, credited with the stolen base. Count goes to 2-0 on Tony Taylor. Phillies 3, the Mets nothing. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and foul back. Count goes to 2-1. Taylor's back in and waiting with Gary Sutherland on deck. Two-one pitch in for a called strike. It's 2-2. Taylor pounds the plate. Gonzalez leads at second. Henley takes the sign. He's up and set. 2-2 delivery. Breaking pitch high, and it's out full at 3-2. Dick Selma's up and throwing again now in the Met bullpen. Met bullpen is located down in the left field corner. Right-hander Dick Selma up and throwing. This will be a payoff pitch. It's on the way. High and away, and he walked it. Second walk issued by Henley. But Taylor on at first. Gonzalez holds at second, and Gary Sutherland's coming up. He's been up one time, and he was called out on strike. The dimensions of Connie Mack Stadium, down the line and left to the foul pole, 334 feet. Straightaway center, 447 feet. Down the line and right, 329 feet to the wall. Pitch to the right-hand batter. Low for ball. Manager Wes Westrom comes out of the Met dugout now, walking toward the mound. He has Dick Selma warm in the bullpen.
Wes would have liked to have seen Bob Henley get out of this inning because that would set it up for him if he wanted to pinch hit and only use up one pitcher. If he has to bring Selma in here right now, he'll have to change his plan or use up two pitchers if he's going to pinch hit. And the sign has gone out, and Dick Selma is coming in the ballgame. So that's all for Bob Henley in his first start for the Mets, and while he comes in, we'll check the score. At the end of 1.5 innings, the Cubs won, the Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. Joe Niekro pitching for Chicago, Steve Blass scoring for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Also scheduled, St. Louis and Houston, they're the league leaders. Atlanta against Los Angeles, and Cincinnati against the San Francisco Giants. In the American League, at the end of 1.5 innings, Boston nothing, the Yankees nothing. Gary Bell pitching for the Boston Red Sox. He has a 3-6 record. Mel Stoudemire going for the Yankees. He has won 6 and lost 6. At the end of 8, in a twilight doubleheader, Cleveland Indians out in front of Kansas City by a score of 5-1. McGee now pitching for Kansas City. Jim Nash was the starting pitcher, and Steve Bailey is now pitching for the Cleveland Indians. May, Ruth, Keon, and Mundy had home runs in that ball game. Mundy got his home run at the top of the ninth to make that ball game now a 5-2 game in favor of the Cleveland Indians. Washington scheduled against the league leaders, the White Sox, in Chicago. And at the end of 2, California nothing, Detroit nothing. Hamilton pitching for the Angels. That's Jack Hamilton, formerly of the Mets. Johnny Padres going for the Detroit Tigers. Minnesota and Baltimore not on the schedule today.
All right, Ralph Conner, it's Dick Selma in, warming up now, making his 5th appearance for the Mets since being brought up from Jacksonville, Florida. He has no won or lost record. Last time out against the Chicago Cubs in a starting assignment, he worked 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits. This is his first appearance of this season against the Philadelphia Phillies. At Jacksonville this year, Selma was 2-3, all in relief. He'll be facing Gary Sutherland. Mets play the Phils here tomorrow night and then Thursday night. Friday they go on to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Braves Friday night. A day-night doubleheader Saturday and a single game on Sunday. And then they come back to Shea Stadium next Monday night against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Selma's ready. Sutherland's in with a count of 4-1. Runners at first and second. 2 away, and the pitch in for a called strike. It's 1-1. The Phillies are leading here by a score of 3-0, and they're batting in the bottom half of the second inning. Tony Gonzalez is the runner at second. Tony Taylor is the runner at first. Off the stretch, Dick Selma checks the runner, steals the pitch, and it's outside. Grody bluffs the throw to first. Nobody covering. Taylor hustles back to the bag. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Richie Allen is waiting on deck. Selma has the sign. 2-1 offering. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. That's with an infield of Ed Cranepool playing first, Jerry Buchek at second, Bud Harrelson the shortstop, and Ken Boyer at third. Tommy Davis in left field, Cleon Jones in center, and Tommy Reynolds in right. Here's a 2-2 pitch. But first, Selma wheels, plus the throw to second, nobody covering, and Gonzalez slides back in. There's no play there. Sutherland steps out at the plate. Now he's back in and waiting. Runners lead first and second. Now the 2-2 pitch, swung on and foul back, and the count continues, 2-2. Final score in the American League, first game of a twilight doubleheader. The Cleveland Indians 5 and the Kansas City A's 3. Luis Tiant is the winner. Steve Bailey relieved him in the ninth inning. Jim Nash started and took the loss. Lee Mays, Phil Roof, Luis Tiant, and Rick Mundy had home runs in the ball game. That's the first game of a twilight doubleheader. Right here, the Phillies 3 and the Mets nothing. Check that. It's not a doubleheader. It was just a twilight start in Cleveland. 2-2 pitch, and it's high and tight. Count runs out full at 3-2, which means the runners at first and second will be wound up and moving on to pitch. Selma touches the Rosenberg with his toe. And now up on the rubber, looks in for a sign. Gonzalez at second, Taylor at first. Selma stepped off the rubber. Sutherland steps out at the plate. Now we're getting set up again. Now Selma's set. Wheels, there is no throw. Runners tighten up. Nobody covering at second. Selma just wheeled and looked. Now runners go. Payoff pitch it on the ground, foul. Back at third, we'll have to set up and do it over again. Taylor returns to first, Gonzalez to second. Bob Henley worked an inning and 2/3. Charged so far with 3 runs on 4 hits, struck out 2 walks, who is responsible for the 2 runners on base right now. Now the pitch swung on and missed. Selma strikes out Sutherland to retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors, 2 left. The end of 2 innings, the score is the Phillies 3 and the Mets nothing.
Half the nation's population is under 25 now. The ratio is rising steadily. Young adults are concerned about many things. Speaking from Hollywood, here are 2 young celebrities concerned about their future and yours.
Hello, this is Patricia Morrow.
And I'm Christopher Connolly. We're concerned about how little care our generation has about the problems that will confront the next.
We believe that the National Wildlife Federation needs the encouragement and support of everyone, not just the over 35 crowd.
As a matter of fact, it's really up to us to see to it that things like air and water pollution,
Natural beauty,
publicly owned land, and other important topics are understood and acted on by all of us, and soon.
we all must take a positive stand if we really want to keep this country as our America the Beautiful.
To find out how you can help, write the National Wildlife Federation, Department 66, Washington, D.C.
Degrees here in Philadelphia on a very beautiful night for baseball. And right here to take you along the way, Mr. Bob Murphy. All right, Ralph, Jerry Grody will try and get something going for New York as we go to the third inning with the Phillies in front 3-0. Jerry's first time up against veteran right-hander Larry Jackson. Dick Selma has come out of the on-deck circle. Selma will be hitting second. Then the leadoff batter, Bud Harrelson. Now Jackson out of his windup delivers, and he gets the outside corner, strike one. 3 night games in Philadelphia, 4 this weekend in Atlanta, and then the Mets come back to Shea for a 14-game homestand. Swing and a miss on a high hard one, a strike 2 count to Jerry Grody. It was right here in this ballpark last summer that Jerry got into a rhubarb with Gene Mock, the manager of the Phillies. And as a result, the rules were changed outside and low. Jerry had gone into the Philadelphia dugout after a foul ball, and just as he was catching the ball, Mock slammed down on his arms and knocked the ball loose. It almost precipitated a brawl. At that time, however, the rules stated that if you went into the opposing dugout, you did so at your own risk. The 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. After that big rhubarb, the rule was changed to give the catcher protection in the other dugout. Now you could go in the other dugout after a foul ball, and they have to leave you alone. Dick Selma 0 for 5 on the year. Right-hander against right-hander as Larry Jackson delivers, and a fastball is over. Strike 1 call. Phillies have the infield a step to left. The outfield straight away against Dick Selma. The left fielder, Tony Gonzalez, way over into left center. Now a check swing by Dick Selma on a low inside pitch, and the count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Early in the season, in April, when the Mets came into Philadelphia, they ran into very strong Philadelphia pitching. When the Phillies broke their spring camp, they were confident they had a strong pitching staff. Injuries and ineffectiveness in some spots has hurt the Philly pitching. A swing and a miss by Selma, 1 ball and 2 strikes. They lost their 20-game winner, Chris Short. He has been on the sidelines. They'll have him back on Friday. Last week, Jim Bunning came out of the hospital on Friday and pitched on Saturday. The 1-2 delivery, a swing and a miss, and he struck him out. Well, Larry Jackson has now struck out 3 in a row. 2 outs and nobody on here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Well, as the old professor, Charles Dillon Stengel, would say, Larry Jackson has certainly had the whammy on the New York Mets. Casey, it was never a whammy. It was always a whammy. Bud Harrelson batting left-handed. And he holds up on the swing, and the ball breaks low, ball 1. Bud lined out to the opposite field to Tony Gonzalez, starting the game off. Phillies lead 3-0, top half of the 3rd inning. And a foul ball hit back up toward our broadcasting booth and out of play. Broadcasting perch is so high, it's Connie Mack Stadium. A foul ball has to travel a long distance to get up here. It always takes you about 3 or 4 innings to learn to judge the balls accurately after working much lower in the other major league ballparks. The 1-1 delivery, a swing and a foul tip. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies are still confident that if they can get their lineup on the field, they can still make a strong run at the flag. They have not had their regular lineup intact a single time this year. The count 1-2 on Bud Harrelson, and the pitch is off the outside corner, 2-2. Say, listen to the scintillating piano of Peter Nero live under the stars at Rheingold Central Park Music Festival in Wallman Ring this Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Peter Nero. Pitching 2-2. A ground ball slowly hit the shortstop, charged by Sutherland. He throws just in time to get it. Close play, and the side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And at the end of 2.5 innings to score, the Philadelphia Phillies 3 and the New York Mets nothing. Well, Mr. Kiner is an authority on tugboat captains. Ralph? Well, I'm not quite an authority, but I know one thing. When you're a tugboat captain in New York Harbor, you really got to be good. You can't fool around with an ocean liner that costs $75 million. She's about 12 decks high, 1,000 feet long, and weighs somewhere around 52,000 tons. So you better know what you're doing. You've got to ease her out of the pier and get her going. If her bow doesn't face Europe, well, she'll be headed for Albany, and how'd you like to explain that one? The wind's hard on her. She keeps slipping back. You got to do more than just try. If you don't have it, one of the biggest moving things in the world will have had it. And maybe part of 46th Street, too. But it's no sweat. You're a top tugboat captain in the greatest city on earth. You make it. Same thing with beer. 302 brands of beer are trying to make it in New York today. But the only one that's made it to the top is the rich dry lager, Rheingold. Rheingold. In this town, you either have it or you don't.
Last of the third inning, and the Philadelphia fans greet Richie Allen as he comes up for the tremendous triple he unloaded against the top of the scoreboard in right center field. Now the pitch by Selma, a shot on the ground to second. Up with the ball is Jerry Buchek. He whips the ball to Cranepool in time, and Allen is out on one pitch ball. Now Don Locke, the center fielder, he connected for his 8th home run of the year with Richie Allen on third base in the opening inning. Check that, his 6th home run of the year. We were looking at Gene Oliver's column. Breaking ball in at the knees, strike one call. Gene Mock has been playing Don Locke in center field against left-hand pitching. Locke has real good power when he makes contact. Right-hand power hitter, the Mets play him deep in the outfield and just a stride to left. Dick Salma is pitching in relief of starting pitcher Bob Henley. Slender, hard-throwing right-hander delivers a swing and a miss, strike two. It's amazing to find such beautiful weather in Philadelphia this evening. When we left Long Island in the middle of the day, it was pouring down. Now the two-strike delivery. Just off the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tom Gorman's umpiring team is working the series. There's a drive hit right over second into center field for a base hit. So the center fielder, Don Locke, is on with a single. He now is 2 for 2. It brings up the catcher, Gene Oliver. On more than one occasion, Gene Oliver had asked the Atlanta Braves to trade him to another ball club. He was playing behind Joe Torre, and when you're sitting behind Joe Torre, you get very little chance to play. Torre has shown his pleasure since joining Philadelphia. Fastball in for a call strike. Oliver reached on a walk his first time up here tonight. He's riding a 7-game hitting streak. And coming into this ball game, he was hitting .448 since joining Philadelphia. A fly ball, well hit to right field. It's fairly deep. Back goes clean onto the scoreboard, and it is over his head, off the scoreboard. Rounding third and heading home. Here's the play coming to the plate for Locke, and he is safe. Brody missed him with a tag. He went around him and came back and got the plate with his hand. The relay throw was home in time, and Don Locke went out around Jerry Grody, and with a sprawling, groping tag, he touched home plate with his hand and was immediately called safe by Tony Benzon. A double and a run batted in for Gene Oliver. Now the Phillies lead 4-0, and the hitter is Johnny Callison, the right fielder. First base is open. Rojas, a right-hand batter, on deck, and they're going to put Callison on. Both Cleon Jones and Tommy Reynolds went all the way back to the scoreboard looking for a play. And there were two good throws in getting that ball home in time, but the Mets failed to get him. There's ball 4, outside intentionally. Johnny Callison walked. And the Mets now will pitch to Cookie Rojas. Phillies have now had two right-hand batters hit the ball up against the scoreboard in deep right center for extra base hits. Rojas is 0 for 1. He grounded out short to first, his only time up. Rojas hitting .206, far below his average of last year. Now Selma off the stretch. Delivers low and outside. It's ball 1. Cookie Rojas wants Tony Vinzon to have a look at the ball before deciding whether or not it is fit to stay and play. Gene Oliver is on second, Johnny Callison on first. One man away, the infield looking for two. And the pitch by Selma. Ground ball to shortstop. Harrelson to Buchek 1. On to Cranepool, double play, and the side is out. Good play on the part of Jerry Buchek. He was hit hard by Johnny Callison and upended, but made an accurate throw to hit Cranepool for the double play. So the Phillies get a run. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on. And at the end of 3, it's now Philadelphia 4, the New York Mets nothing. Ralph?
Say the Mets have an all-expense-paid weekend round trip for 2 to Hollywood. And it will be the first prize in conjunction with the filming of 2 sequences of The Odd Couple at Shea Stadium on June 27th, prior to the regularly scheduled 2 p.m. game with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Winning coupon will be selected from a huge drum on the field immediately after the game by Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, stars of the Paramount Pictures version of the Broadway stage hit. Eligibility for the prize does not require attendance at the game. The Mets have made arrangements for the use of a booth adjacent to the advance ticket office near Gate D at Shea, where coupons may be attained and filled out throughout the day on June 25th and 26th. Fans attending the game on June 27th may fill out coupons on their way into the ballpark. The script calls for the Pittsburgh Pirates to hit into a triple play against the Mets, with players of both teams playing themselves. The other sequence involves Matthau recreating his Broadway role in the press box as a sports writer assigned to the Mets.
In the 4th inning, Cleon Jones will be up against Larry Jackson. Larry, a 36-year-old right-hander from Boise, Idaho. This year, he has won 4 and lost 7. And Cleon pops the ball foul over by the visiting dugout. It's playable. Coming over is Tony Taylor, and he snags it in front of the New York dugout. Right here, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is Bill Edwardson. You know the sun rises and sets on my radio shows. Join me weekdays 7 to 10 a.m., 3 to 6 p.m. on the Big Bright Sound here on WGY, Schenectady.
Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson from Connie Mack Stadium, Philadelphia. Ken Boyer with 1 out and nobody on steps in against Larry Jackson. Ken's first time up, he flied to left field to Tony Gonzalez. He looks at a pitch that is high, 1 ball and no strike. Larry Jackson, successful pitching veteran, wide repertoire of pitches, and he mixes them up well. Good slider, good sinker. Low and outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Last year, he opened the season with the Cubs, was traded early in the year to Philadelphia, and wound up the year winning 15 and losing 15. The 2-0 delivery. And Ken takes a look. It's low and outside. Ball 3, 3-0. Very early this year, the Mets knocked off one of their old tormentors, beating him twice in 1 week. The veteran right-hander of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Vernon Law. But so far this year, they've been unable to do anything with another tormentor, Larry Jackson.
And it's right in for a called strike, 3-1. Jackson has beaten the Mets twice. One of the two was a shutout. Pitching, 3-1. A swing and a miss on a breaking ball, 3-2. Tommy Davis waiting on deck. Now Jackson delivers 3-2 to Boyer. And a foul ball hit back upstairs. No play for the catcher, Gene Oliver. And the count remains 3-2. Mets return to Shea next Monday night to open their homestand against the heavy-hitting Pittsburgh Pirates. They'll play the Pirates Monday night and Tuesday afternoon. Phillies come in for 2 night games, and then the Cardinals, now in first place in the National League, for a 4-game weekend series. A slow grounder, dribbling foul down the third base line. Count remains 3-2. So far this year, everything has been fitting together just about right for the Redbirds of Red Shandings. Roger Maris got the base hit that put the Cardinals in first place. Pitching, 3-2. Fly ball, well hit to left by Kenny Boyer. This one is carrying back close to the wall. Gonzalez on the warning track takes it for the out. Not quite enough. So Ken has been up twice. Both times pulled the ball to left field, and that time he put Gonzalez back deep for it. Tommy Davis coming up. Tommy has the only hit off Larry Jackson. That was a well-stroked double. His 18th double of the year, and he now shares the National League lead in 2 base hits with Orlando Cepeda. Here's the pitch on the way. Hit foul down the right field line, no play. Mets have played just a little over a third of the year. Tommy Davis right now is only 10 two-base hits behind the Mets club record. The record is 28, held by Ron Hunt and Ken Boyer. The 1-strike delivery misses the outside edge of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phillies have the infield and the outfield straight away against Tommy Davis. Tommy stands close to the plate. Up toward the front of the batter's box. And the 1-1 delivery is a grounder hit down to third, fielded by Richie Allen. The long peg is in the dirt, but Tony Taylor grabs it in time for the out. Fielding Jim on the part of Tony Taylor playing first base. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. At the end of 3.5 innings, the Phillies 4 and the New York Mets nothing.
Hurry, hurry, hurry to the circus of value-rated tested used cars now on display at Armory Garage, Central at Colvin in Albany. Ringmaster Art Neat is putting on the biggest used car show of the year. At used car headquarters this week are Bonnevilles, Mustangs, 300s, Barracudas, Impalas, Furies, and the spectacular Crowns and DeVilles. You'll cheer at the lowest prices ever on these mint-condition beat beauties that are ready to roll. At Armory, the selection is so great you'll probably find the right car at the right price on your first visit. And if by any chance you didn't stop in again and check the stock, there are new arrivals daily. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. Take years to pay. In fact, the first payment won't be due until August. Hop on the bandwagon and drive into Armory Garage, Central at Colvin in Albany. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
Last of the 4th inning, Phillies 4, Mets nothing. Tony Gonzalez leads off against Dick Selma. Tony hitting .331 leads the Philadelphia club in batting. Gene Mock dropped him down in the batting order to the 8th position today, with the Mets starting a left-hander. He got a base hit off the left-hander, Bob Henley, his first time up. Now Selma cranks it up, and the pitch is a bloop hit out to shallow left center. Out goes Harrelson, and he's got it. Bud Harrelson out into shallow left center to grab the blooper. 1 out and nobody on. Larry Jackson, the pitcher, will be hitting for the second time. He tried to bunt a runner over his first time up and fouled out on a good grab by Jerry Grody. Now Selma with his sign. The pitch to Jackson breaks low, ball 1. The leadoff batter, Tony Taylor, waiting on deck. Now the fastball by Dick Selma, and it's out of the strike zone. 2 balls, no strikes. Phillies 4 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. New York no runs, 1 hit, no errors. The 2-0 delivery. He checked his swing. He was just trying to get out of the way of an inside delivery, and it fouled off 2-1. Jackson was playing defense, just trying to get away from the ball that was following him. Pitching 2-1. Foul ball hit off to the right, toward the upper deck, no play. And now it's 2-2 on Larry Jackson. Jackson hitting right-handed, cow-tailing the bat around, now cocks it off the right shoulder. And the fastball is down the middle, strike 3 call. Second strikeout for Dick Selma, who is on in relief of Bob Henley. And it brings up the first baseman and leadoff batter, Tony Taylor. Tony hitting .297. It was back early in spring training with Bill White, shelved with an injury, that Tony Taylor established himself as the first baseman. And the pitch is over, strike 1 call. Al Selma with his sign, the pitch to Taylor, foul ball, right straight back into the upper deck. And a 2-strike count. Now Selma side again. The pitch thrown to Tony Taylor is outside and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Braves and the Reds are visiting the West Coast. The Braves play the Dodgers tonight in Los Angeles. The Reds tackle the Giants at Candlestick. Tony Taylor, feet wide apart. Lashes one hard on the ground, right at Bud Harrelson. Bud is up with it, straightens up, throws to first in time for the out. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. The Phillies out 1-2-3 in their half of the 4th inning. At the end of 4, it's Philadelphia 4, and the New York Mets nothing.
Have you heard what's going on at Gulf service stations? It's Big Tire Days at Gulf. Gulf dealers are now featuring outstanding values on all Gulf tires. Big trade-ins, too. Generous allowances on your old tires. Big selections. A complete range of sizes in the entire Gulf tire line. And remember, when you buy Gulf tires with a Gulf travel card, there's no down payment, no carrying charges, and months to pay. Big Tire Days are going on at Gulf. Get in on them.
Inning number 5 at Connie Mack Stadium. The Mets trail the Phillies 4-0. And Eddie Kranepool will be up against right-hander Larry Jackson.
The Chicago Cubs, with young Joe Niekro on the mound, lead Pittsburgh 2-0 at the end of 3. The Pirates are pitching Steve Blass. Larry Jackson delivers. Craneville runs up, tries to bunt, and bunts the ball foul, strike one. They're just underway in the Astrodome. The St. Louis Cardinals, leading the National League, got a run in the first of Bo Belinsky. Larry Jaster, 3-2 on the year, pitching for St. Louis. Braves and Dodgers later tonight. The Reds and Giants later tonight at Candlestick. Pitch to Eddie Craneville is taken low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Red Sox and the Yankees scoreless at the end of 4 in the Yankee Stadium. Gary Bell pitching for the Red Sox and Mel Stottlemyre going for the Yankees. Again, it's outside as Jackson pitches away from Craneville, 2-1. In a twilight game, Cleveland, a rising ball club in the American League, beat Kansas City 5-3. Luis Tiant was the winner, and Jim Nash was the loser. The 2-1 delivery, swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. The warm-ups at Comiskey Park, Frank Bertana for Washington, Bruce Howard for the league-leading Chicago White Sox. And Big Jack Hamilton has the Tigers shut out over the first 4. The Angels lead 1-0 after 4.5 innings. Craneville holds up on the swing, and it missed outside. And Oliver is arguing with umpire Tony Vinzon. So we have a full count on Craneville, 3-2. Incidentally, in that California-Detroit game with the Angels ahead 1-0 after 4.5. The only run of the game, a home run by Woody Held. He has found a new lease on life. Pitching 3-2. A fly ball in the air to center field. Tapping the glove and waiting is Don Locke, the center fielder, and he has it for the out. 1 away, nobody on. The Mets have been held to 1 hit, and now the right fielder, Tommy Reynolds, is up. Tommy 0 for 1, bounced out second to first his previous time at bat. Tommy hitting .210. Now the windup by Jackson and the pitch, and he bluffed at a bunt, didn't offer. It's high, ball 1. Tommy won the first game at Shea Stadium on Sunday with a home run off Cal Kuntz in the 10th inning. Now the pitch to him, and again he takes high, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Bill Dennehy is warming up in the Mets bullpen. The 2-0 delivery by Larry Jackson is swung on and missed. It is 2-1. Bill Dennehy got off to a good start this year for the Mets. He was throwing strikes his first few times out. The Mets could not score runs for him. He lost a couple of tough ball games. Last 5 or 6 appearances, he has been bothered by wildness. The 2-1 delivery to Tommy Reynolds is inside, ball 3, 3-1. Larry Jackson has good control. He rarely hurts himself by walking too many hitters. Three-1 delivery. Reynolds was taking all the way. The Mets 4 runs behind, trying to get somebody on. It was over for a strike. It is 3-2. Jerry Buchek is the on-deck batter. And it just missed the outside corner, ball 4. And on 3-2, Reynolds reaches on a walk, the first walk given up by Larry Jackson. Jackson had retired 10 consecutive hitters. Tommy Davis, the only previous runner in the ballgame against Larry Jackson. Tommy led off the second inning with a double to right center.
Now Jerry Buchek is up, 1 out and 1 on. Top of the 5th inning. Phillies 4 and the Mets nothing. It is grounded foul down the third base line, no play. The Red Sox-Yankee game at Yankee Stadium is now being held up because of rain after 4 innings. Boston nothing, the New York Yankees nothing. Gary Bell 3 and 6 against Mel Stottlemyre 6 and 6. Jackson eyes the runner, and the pitch to Buchek. Ground ball hit the shortstop. Sutherland to Rojas for 1. On to first, safe. The ball is dropped by Tony Taylor. It squirted out of Taylor's glove. It appeared the throw was going to be there in time for 2 to retire the side. Now Jerry Grody will be coming up against Larry Jackson. An error is charged to the first baseman, Tony Taylor. Bills missed the twin killing when the throw by Cookie Rojas squirted out of the glove of Tony Taylor. Jerry Grody was struck out his first time up. Larry Jackson has walked 1, struck out 3, allowed no runs, 1 hit. And a swing and a miss on a breaking ball, strike 1. This will be a brief road trip for the Mets. 2 stops, Philadelphia and Atlanta. Now the pitch on the way, and it gets away from Gene Oliver. Moving on down to second base goes Jerry Buchek. Pass ball charged to Gene Oliver. Road trips never seem short, however, unless you win some ball games. Mets with a runner in scoring position after the pass ball. And a count of 1 ball, 1 strike to Jerry Grody. Jerry hitting but 162, has 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. And now the return throw winds up in center field. Gene Oliver may be working with numbed fingers right now. That ball that got away apparently caught him on the fingertips of his throwing hand. He keeps flexing his hand, trying to get that blood circulating good again. Johnny Sullivan is down around the bat rack to bat for Dick Salma. The Mets can keep this going. And the pitch thrown to Grody, a ground ball hit down to third. Richie Allen up with it. Strides and throws in time, and the side is out. In the top of the 5th inning, no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on. So we have come halfway. At the end of 4 1/2, the Phillies 4 and the New York Mets nothing.
Poverty, ignorance, pain, hunger, sadness, loss of self-respect, disease, false idols, hate. These are the reasons why people fight. These are also the reasons why the Peace Corps is in Ghana and India and Colombia and 49 other countries. The job of a Peace Corps volunteer is to give people a chance to develop dignity, to give people a chance to know they can do a job well, to give people a chance to be proud, to give people a chance at a better life. In short, to give people a chance. This is how the Peace Corps works for peace. Would you like to work for peace? You may be qualified. Write the Peace Corps in Washington for an application.
The New York Mets will have a new battery in the ball game in the last of the 5th inning. Rookie Bill Dennehy has come on to pitch. John Sullivan takes over behind the plate. By making the double change, Wes Westrom can put John Sullivan in the number 9 spot in the batting order. Sullivan then would lead off in the sixth inning. And Bill Dennehy will hit in the number 8 spot, Brody's position. Jerry made the last out. Bill Dennehy coming out for the 13th time this year. He has relieved on 3 occasions, otherwise been a starter. Dennehy, the 21-year-old right-hander from Middletown, Connecticut, has won 1 and lost 7. Dennehy got his lone major league win after 4 losses when he beat the Atlanta Braves. Since then has lost to the Giants, the Reds, and the Cubs. Last year at Williamsport in the Eastern League, pitching for Bill Verdon, Dennehy, a very promising right-hander, won 9 and lost 2. His big problem seems to be in getting ahead of the hitters. He has not been throwing enough strikes to be effective. But when you talk to Harvey Haddix and Wes Westrom and talk to the rival hitters, they like this young man and like his chances. Regardless of how hard you can throw or how good your curveball, if you're constantly behind 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, it has to cause you trouble. Gary Sutherland is up against Bill Dennehy, and he hits the first pitch foul down the third base line. Dick Selma pitched 2 1/3, allowed 1 run, 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 2. Now the Phillies shortstop, Gary Sutherland, lays off at a curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gary Sutherland has been used in both the outfield and at shortstop. Done a good hitting job. He's batting .274. Fastball in for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bill Dennehy, his first time out this year was against Philadelphia here at Connie Mack Stadium. He pitched a beautiful ball game, and he lost. He gave up 2 runs on a 2-run homer to Richie Allen. The 1-2 delivery, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Third time in a row, Gary Sutherland has been fan of the ball game, and it brings up Richie Allen. Well, Allen hit one up close to the top of the scoreboard in right center for a 3-base hit, driving in a run in the first inning. And he grounded out second to first in the third inning. Richie hitting .323. Holds up on the swing. 1 ball and no strikes. Richie Allen has 8 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Now the pitch on the way. Breaking ball by Dennehy misses, and the count 2-0. So Bill Dennehy is up against the man who handed him his first major league loss. He doesn't have to feel too bad about that because Richie Allen has handed many pitchers a setback. The 2-0 delivery on the inside corner of strike 2-1.
They say he hit one even further than that the other day here in Shibe Park, or I guess you should call it Connie Mack Stadium now. They went over that sign to the right of the one in the middle and all the way out of the ballpark, and they claim it went somewhere around 600 feet.
A high pop fly out behind second base. Jerry Buchek, camped on the rim of the outfield grass, makes the catch. State crowd tonight is 7,718. We're in the last of inning number 5. Phillies, 4 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. New York, no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. Center fielder Don Locke, batting in the cleanup position, is up now against Bill Dennehy. And he takes a curve low, ball 1. Don Locke hit a 2-run homer in the first. He singled to center in the third. The home run for Don Locke was his 6th of the year. Good fastball by Dennehy. He burned that one down there. 1 ball, 1 strike. The infield a step to left against Don Locke. Now he jumps back and takes a fastball in close to him. 2 balls and 1 strike. Locke with that back foot planted right on the restraining line. Looks down now to check his footing. Jerry Buchek shades him toward the middle. Dennehy down with the arm. Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. The Mets knew when the season opened that it would take their young pitchers a half a year probably to get themselves going. Now a swing and a miss. He struck him out. And Bill Dennehy struck out 2 of the 3 and retiring the side 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. So at the end of 5, the Phillies 4 runs, 6 hits, and 1 error. The New York Mets no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. And here in Philadelphia, the ground crew now comes out to manicure the diamond for the last half of the action. And speaking of action, you like the action at Shea Stadium on Saturday night, the 8th of July, the night of the annual Old Timers event. The New York Mets will be hosting the Atlanta Braves, and that's an attractive menu in its own right. But since it is Old Timers night, you'll have a chance to watch all the fun and join in on the nostalgia as the original Met team, the 1962 team, comes back for an abbreviated encounter against the 1960 Yankee team, a team that was a galaxy of stars, and the last team directed by George Weiss. The 62 Mets, the original team put together, and the organization put together by George Weiss. The 62 Mets, the original team put together, and the organization put together by George Weiss. Hall of Famers will be on hand, such as Lloyd Wainer, the famed Little Poison, one of the game's great managers, Joe McCarthy, and who will ever forget Bill Dickey. Whitey Ford will be on hand, and old reliable Tommy Hendrick, and many more. But the date to recall is July the 8th, Saturday night at Shea, and now it's not very far away. And a fellow not very far away, and all set to paint the word picture for you, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and hi, everyone. John Sullivan, who is batting in the 9th batting position, will lead off for the Mets here in the top of the 6th. And Larry Jackson with the first pitch. It's low, ball 1. Larry has given up but 1 base hit, a double off the scoreboard by Tommy Davis, his 18th this year, which has tied him with Orlando Cepeda for the National League lead. A base hit came in the 2nd. And now Larry back, and the pitch is over for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jackson has won 4 this year, 2 of them against the Mets. He has lost 7. And in this ball game, he has struck out 3 and walked 1. Other base runner for the Mets, Tommy Reynolds, who walked in the 3-2 pitch. Now the 1-1 pitch to Sullivan. Low and away, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Sullivan came in the ball game along with Bill Dennehy. Bill batting in the 8th batting position. Sullivan batting 188. Now the next pitch to the left-hand batter inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. After John, the batter will be Bud Harrelson, then Cleon Jones. Mets trailing by a 4-0 score. The Phillies have 4 runs and 6 hits. They got 3 runs in the first on 3 hits. Had 1 more in the 3rd. Don Locke has been the big man in the ballgame against the Mets. 2-run home run and a great slide at home to evade a tag and get in. Now 3-1, the pitch back is over, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2, John Sullivan. Jackson taking the signs with his hands and his knees. Richie Allen now moving way over at third toward short. A hard ground ball down to second base. Taken there by Cookie Rojas to throw to first base in time for the out. Phillies pick up the first out here in the top of the 6th. The Mets now have Bud Harrelson coming up, and will use the opportunity to step out for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Hi, neighbor. If you're hard to wake up, let the Chanticleer help you between 5:45 and 7. Farm paper with agriculture and garden news comes along at 12:15.
Here on WGY, Schenectady.
With Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Connie Mack Stadium here in Philadelphia. The first pitch to Bud Harrelson is taken for a called strike. Bud shortening up and faking the bunt, taking through for a strike. Bud is 0 for 2 in the game. Batting .246. He flied out to left field, a soft liner his first time up. Grounded out to short his second. Now at 1 strike, the pitch back is taken low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jackson with 32 lifetime shutouts. And at 1-1, the pitch is hit foul, out of play. So the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Larry Jackson had a great year in the minor leagues at Fresno, where Tom Seaver comes from. Also Jim Maloney and Dick Ellsworth, along with Dick Selma. They're all in this ballpark, with the exception of Maloney. Now the next pitch is low, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. In fact, Dick Ellsworth made Larry Jackson his baseball idol, and now they're pitching together on the Philadelphia Phillies. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounded out towards second base. Rojas moves in, gets the second hop, throws to first base for out number 2. So Cookie now with 2 assists, and the Mets with Cleon Jones coming up. Cleon of 179. 0 for 2 in the game. He grounded out to short his first time up, fouled out his second. 76 degrees at game time on a beautiful evening. Wind blowing in slightly from left field. It is now 71. We understand rain has been falling in New York. Now a good try to bunt, but Jackson quickly off the mound to throw to first base is in time to pick up Cleon Jones. Larry Jackson, one of the top fielding pitchers in baseball, coming off that mound to make a play at first base to retire the side in order. And the score after 5.5 innings, the Phillies 4, the Mets nothing.
Let Armory Garage Central at Colvin in Albany put your family on the road vacation bound in a top-quality tested used car. If you've been putting off that family trip because you're worried about the safety of your present car, drive into Armory Garage's used car lot and leave your worries behind. At Armory, you'll find hundreds of top-condition used cars, one just right for your family. Choose from sedans, hardtops, and wagons, road-tested and ready to go. Sales manager Art Neat will give you the green light on a payment plan tailor-made just for your vacation budget. He'll arrange for you to buy, sign, and pay at Armory, where the first payment won't be due until August. So get out those travel folders and road maps and make your first vacation stop, Armory Garage, Central at Colvin, Albany. And then head for your favorite vacation spot, trouble-free in a top-quality used car from Armory. Happy vacation.
Bottom half of the 6th, the Phillies come up. They lead 4-0. And the first man coming up for the Philadelphia Phillies, a man who was at Atlanta earlier this year and who has done quite a job since coming over to the Phillies, Gene Oliver. Oliver has hit in 8 consecutive ball games, batting at .296. He doubled his last time up off the scoreboard. Walked his first. Right-hand batter, he'll be followed by Johnny Callison and Cookie Rojas. And Bill Dennehy with his first pitch is grounded out toward short. Ken Boyer over to cut it off, and the throw to first base is in time. Fine play by Ken Boyer for the out. That'll bring up Johnny Callison, who has struck out and walked. He was walked intentionally back in the 3rd. That's setting up a chance for a double play, and they got it when Cookie Rojas, the on-deck batter, grounded into one. 4-0. The Phillies lead. 4 runs on 6 hits. The Mets have no runs in 1. Tommy Davis picking up a double off the scoreboard in right center field for the only base hit for the Mets off Larry Jackson. Callison looks and called a strike. John, a left-hand batter, struck out into a double play his first time up in the 1st to end the inning. Phillies picking up 3 runs in the 1st inning to get off to a flying start. Now Dennehy back, and the pitch is grounded slowly out towards first base. Eddie Greenpool comes in, fields the bag about 3 steps, fields the ball about 3 steps from the bag, and then goes up to the bag to make the put out on the system. 2 men away. Cookie Rojas, the batter, 0 for 2. Callison before grounding out, batting .279. Rojas is batting .205. Dennehy has now retired 5 in a row. Came in the ball game in the 5th. And the first pitch is low. It's ball 1. Mets have used Bob Henley. He is the pitcher of record. He worked 1 2/3 innings. Dick Selma and Bill Dennehy. And the big right-hander back, and the 1-0 pitch is taken outside. 2 balls, no strikes. At the end of 4.5 innings, Chicago 4, the Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. Joe Niekro against Woody Fryman now. Hard smash off the glove of Dennehy out towards second base. Picked up by Buchek. He has time to throw to first base for the out there. That ball deflected perfectly, but not on purpose, right at Jerry Buchek, and that ball was hit hard. 1, 2, 3 innings for Bill Dennehy, and the score at the end is 6. The Philadelphia Phillies 4, the New York Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Rheingold.
Look, you can't pull the wool over their eyes. You can't kid the public around here. You can't put one over on these guys. They'll toss you right out on your ear. In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Hey!
There are 302 beers trying to make it in New York, from all over. But only one beer has made it to the top. The rich, dry lager, Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
In this town, either you have it or you don't. Either you're a pro or you won't get very far. Either you have it or you don't.
Rheingold.
We're going to the top of the 7th. The Philadelphia Phillies lead by a score of 4-0, and the first man up for the Mets will be Ken Boyer. Ken has flied out to left field. It's 2 times up. Right-hand batter, and on the mound, the right-hand pitcher, Larry Jackson. And the first pitch is called a strike. Boyer batting .218. He has no home runs. 4 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Tommy Davis, then Ed Kranepool. And Jackson back again. And the pitch is grounded out toward third base, taken there by Richie Allen. He takes 2 steps, throws to first base in time. 1 away here in the top of the 7th. The Phillies lead 4-0. That brings up Tommy Davis, who has the only base hit for the Mets. A double off the scoreboard in the second. A double, his 18th this year, at a time with Orlando Cepeda for the National League lead. Davis was out on a fine pickup by the first baseman, Tony Taylor, his second time up. And Tommy fakes out a bunt, takes the pitch over for a called strike. Ron Taylor is now throwing in the bullpen for the Mets. To keeping the scorecard, the pitcher for the Mets, Bill Dennehy, is batting in the 8th batting position. Now at 1 strike, the pitch is fouled back. Ball going out of play, strike 2. At the end of 1.5 innings, the Cardinals won Houston nothing. Larry Jaster against Paul Belinsky. Cardinals in front of the National League race by 1/2 game. Two-strike count, and Larry Jackson back again. The pitch is high and inside. Tommy Davis sort of moves away with his head. Sort of nods away, and the count 1-2. Tommy batting .312. And at 1-2, the pitch is swung on and grounded out foul on the third base side. The count remaining 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tommy has dropped out of the Big Ten. Phillies have 2 batters in the top 10 batters in the National League. Richie Allen, who started this ball game in the 8th position, and the left fielder, Tony Gonzalez, who started in the 6th position. Both have had base hits in the ball game. 1-2. Larry Jackson taking the sign straight up this time. Now the windup and the pitch to Tommy Davis. It is just off, And it's called ball 2. And Larry Jackson was on his way looking for a strikeout. Two balls, 2 strikes. 1 man out. We're in the top of the 7th. The Phillies lead 4-0. Now Jackson again over in his customary sign-taking position with both hands in his knees. Now the 2-2 pitch. It is grounded out through the middle. Out goes the shortstop. Over and back at second base. The throw to first base is in time for the out. Good play, and the ball hit back to the middle by Sutherland, and the Phillies have their second out. Say, when you pull the tab on the Rheingold Chug-a-Mug, the top comes off with a hiss that sounds like the good Rheingold flavor inside. 6 12-ounce mugs to the carton, and you'll find them in the Chug-a-Mug special display at your local stores in New York and New Jersey. 2 men out. The batter, Ed Kranepool. Ed popped to center field his first time up, and his second. And the first pitch is low. It's called a ball. Kranepool batting .305. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. And the left-hand batter now set. Double pump by Larry Jackson, and the pitch to the plate is over. A called strike. Fastball right on through. 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Now the right-hander back, and a changeup is fouled off the end of the bat. Ball going out of play, and it's 1-2. Mets have had a runner at third. Tommy Davis got that far in the second. They also had a runner at second base. Jerry Buchek got there in the pass ball after an error. Trailing 4-0. Now at 1-2, Kranepool grounds one out toward the second baseman, Cookie Rojas. He has it, underhands to first base to retire the side. So 3 out on the ground, and the score at the end of 6 1/2 innings. The Phillies 4, the Mets nothing.
Everybody's voting for the friendly voice of radio, the people's choice. Music, weather, sports, and news, it's radio. The people choose. Everybody's swinging to the swinging voice of radio, the people's choice. Big fry, small fry, dawn to dawn, it's radio that turns them on. Swinging, singing. A million sounds you want to hear. It's the last one every year. Everybody's diving in the smiling voice of radio, the people's choice. East Coast, West Coast, in between, it's radio that makes us see.
So with the plane of Take Me Out to the Ball Game in the background, the Mets take the field, and we go to the bottom half of the 7th. Phillies are in front 4-0. They have 4 runs on 6 hits off the combined pitching of starting pitcher Bob Hamlin, Dick Selma, and Bill Dennehy. And now Bill Dennehy, who came in this ball game in the 5th, gets set to pitch to the leadoff batter here in the 7th, Tony Gonzalez. Tony, a left-hand batter. And the first pitch is inside. Dennehy has retired the 6 batters he has faced in the ball game. And the next pitch is called a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. And the right-hander back high, and it's ball 3. 3-0. Bill struck out 2 in the first inning. He worked in the 5th. Then got the side out in the 6th in order. All in ground balls. One a line shot off his glove that was fielded by Jerry Buchek at second base, and the play made the first. And the 3-0 pitch to Gonzalez. It is low, ball 4. So Tony Gonzalez keeping his average at 329 on the walk. first man to reach against Bill Dennehy, and that brings up the pitcher, Larry Jackson. Larry came into this ball game with a record of 17 wins and no losses against the Mets. The all-time record for consecutive wins against one ball club held by Christy Mathewson of 24 wins against the St. Louis Ball Club, going from June 16th, 1904 through September 15th, 1908. Now faking the bunt, a swing, and a miss, strike one. That got the crowd's attention. In the American League, the record is 23, held by Carl Mays, while pitching for Boston and New York over the Philadelphia Athletics. Now again the fake and the bunt and the swing, strike two. Mets are charging from first and third. Carl Mays ran his together through a period from October 30th, 1918 to July 24th, 1923. Marichal has 19 wins and no losses against the Mets. Now a bunt on the two-strike pitch, picked up by Dennehy. He throws to Jerry Buchek, covering at first base. And after faking the bunt and swinging, the sacrifice is effected as Larry Jackson moves Tony Gonzalez down to second base. That'll bring up the leadoff batter, Tony Taylor. Tony with a base hit and 2 times up. Batting .295. Phillies lead 4-0. Trying to add one more here is Gene Mock. Moves the runner into scoring position. The first pitch by Dennehy, a called strike. Dennehy now pitching to his 9th man since coming in the ballgame. And the 1-strike pitch in the dirt, blocked by John Sullivan. The runner going to third base, the slide, and he is out. And moving over to third and making the play, Ken Boyer, as Tony Gonzalez tried to move up on the ball of his bounce into the dirt. It goes 2-5 if you're keeping score. Good hustling play by John Sullivan. That'll be a 1-1 count on the batter, Tony Taylor. Now the windup and the pitch. Taken inside and low, and it's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the next pitch is hit out to deep right field, going way back. Tommy Reynolds, you'll have to play it off of the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Tony Taylor moving on down to second base and holding there as the ball is played off perfectly by Tommy Reynolds. Long double, the first base hit, given up by Dennehy. And, of course, the Mets not being charged with a run because Tony Gonzalez tried to go over to third, and he was thrown out, and the ball that was away in the dirt. But the Phillies now have a runner at second base with the shortstop, Gary Sutherland, coming up. Gary batting .272. Phillies have used that right field fence to get advantage here in the game. And the first pitch to the shortstop, Sutherland, is down low. It's ball 1. Richie Allen doubled high off the wall, off the scoreboard in right field. Gene Oliver the same, and now back of them, Tony Taylor. Next pitch is taken. It's down low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Only 2 balls have ever been hit over that scoreboard on the center field side of the clock, which sits on top of it. One by Wes Covington. The other was just the other day by Willie McCovey. Richie Allen, a right-hand batter. They're both left. Almost did it in this ball game here tonight. Checking the swing, a little ground ball down toward first base. Easy play for Ed Kranepool. He picks it up, steps on the bag, and that retires the side. In the inning, no runs, 1 hit. No errors, a man left on base, and the score at the end of 7 innings here. The Philadelphia Phillies 4, the New York Mets nothing. Now let's take a look at the scoreboard. In the National League all-night ball games, the Pittsburgh Pirates have scored 3 runs in the bottom half of the 5th to knock out Joe Niekro. Chuck Hartenstein is now pitching for Chicago, but the Cubs still lead by a score of 4-3, building a 4-run lead through the first 4 innings. That game now going to the top of the sixth. Pitching now for the Pirates, Mickelson, who came in the ball game in the sixth inning. Clendenin scoring 3 runs with a 3-run home run in the fifth. At the end of 2.5 innings, the St. Louis Cardinals, they lead by 1/2 game, 2. Houston 1. Larry Jasper pitching for the Cardinals. Bobulinski going for the Houston Astros. Starting pitchers, Atlanta playing against the Dodgers in Los Angeles. LeMaster going for Atlanta. He has a record of 7-1, and Bill Singer with a record of 1-3. That means the Mets will pick up LeMaster when the Mets move on down to play the Atlanta Braves over the weekend. Also scheduled, Cincinnati against San Francisco. Cincinnati 1/2 game back. At New York, time has been called because of rain, and that ball game in the top of the fifth with no score. Gary Bell and Mel Stoudemire, the opposing pitchers. Cleveland beat Kansas City 5-3. At the end of 1.5 innings, Washington 2, Chicago nothing. At the end of 7, the Angels 1, Detroit nothing, and Minnesota and Baltimore not scheduled. Right here, we're going to the top of the 8th. The Phillies in front 4-0, and here for the play-by-play, once again, Lindsey Nelson.
Thank you very much, Ralph Conner. Hello again, everybody. Tommy Reynolds up, and here's Larry Jackson's pitch, and it's low and away for a ball. Don Shaw is up and throwing in the bullpen for the New York Mets. Jerry Buchek is waiting on deck. Larry Jackson takes the sign, starts the work, the 1-0 delivery, the right-hand batter, Tommy Reynolds, and it's in there for a called strike. Don't forget, Thursday night, July 20th, will be Helmet Night at Shea Stadium. Every boy and girl 16 years of age or under will receive a replica of the Mets batting helmet as he enters the stadium. Mets will be playing the Houston Astros in a rescheduled game that night. There's a swing and a foul pop over in front of the Met dugout, given a run by Taylor, and he can't get to it. It hits in the warning track. Bounds on over the top of the dugout into the crowd. Count of 1-2. Larry Loughlin is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Philadelphia Phillies. Larry Loughlin, a left-hander. Thursday night, July 20th, a rescheduled date. Now, if you have a schedule printed at the start of the season, that will be shown as an open date, but it'll be the Mets and the Houston Astros at Shea Stadium, Thursday night, July 20th, and that is Helmet Night. Right here, the Phillies are leading the Mets by a score of 4-0. Tommy Reynolds is in and waiting, and this will be a 1-2 pitch from Larry Jackson. It's on the way. In there for a called strike for a slider, and it's strikeout number 4 for Jackson. 1 away for the Mets batting in the top of the 8th, and Jerry Buchek is coming up. Ron Taylor is up and throwing along with Don Shaw. Buchek, a right-hand batter, settles himself into the batter's box. Larry Jackson's pitch, low for a ball. Tomorrow night, radio and television coverage here. On the air at 8 p.m. New York time, the Mets and the Phils. The fastball in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Bill Dennehy, the number 8 man in the batting order, is moving out on deck. Now Luplo has a bat in the dugout. There's a swing and a drive into left field. Going back is Gonzalez, and at the edge of the warning track, he hauls it down for the out. Buchek got good wood on the ball, drilled it to deep left. Gonzalez went back, took it at the edge of the warning track, and then retreated right on up to the wall. 2 away. Dennehy now is being called back, and Ed Charles is coming out with a bat. Ed Charles is coming out now to bat for Dennehy. Charles is hitting .247 with 1 home run and 7 runs batted in since coming over to the Mets from the Kansas City Athletics. Dennehy's out of the ball game after an impressive stint in relief. 3 innings he pitched, allowed no runs and 1 hit. Struck out 2 and walked 1. Manager Wes Westrom comes out now to have a word with Tony Vincent, the umpire behind the plate, to get the batting order straightened out. Charles batting for Dennehy. Charles is a right-hand batter. Coming up here with 2 men out, nobody on base for the Mets in the top of the 8th. The Mets have had only 1 hit off Larry Jackson tonight. It was a leadoff second-inning double off the base of the scoreboard in right center field by Tommy Davis. Swinging a foul ball back and out of play. Davis got around as far as third in the top of the second, and Buchek left him stranded when he was called out on strikes. Strike 1 pitch to Charles, and it's high for a ball, 1-1. The Mets have had only 3 base runners in this entire ball game. Here's a 1-1 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. 1-2. After Tommy Davis doubled, Jackson retired 10 consecutive batters until Tommy Reynolds drew a walk in the 5th inning. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to short. Scooped up by Sutherland. Played across to Taylor, and the side is out in order. A run, no hits, no errors, none left to score in the middle of the 8th inning as the Phillies 4 and the Mets nothing.
Whether you're buying your first or 10th car, it's time you become a smart car buyer and join the ranks of the thousands of satisfied customers who shop Armory Garage, Central at Colwyn, Albany. Here are the 3 basic rules for the smart car buyer. Select a model you want, and then 1, compare quality. Armory Garage boasts the largest selection of quality-tested late-model used cars in the area. 2, compare service. Armory's expert mechanics are qualified to service all the cars on the Armory lot. 3, compare price. Armory's tremendous volume assures you more for your car-buying dollar. Be a wise car buyer. Drive into Armory Garage and talk over your used car needs with sales manager Art Neat. Let him introduce you to Armory's easy terms. You can buy, sign, and pay at Armory, home of 101 time payment plans. Your credit is wealth at Armory. Follow the wise car buyer to Armory Garage, Central at Colwyn, Albany.
Ron Taylor has come in to do the pitching now for the Mets. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Hi, this is Jerry Ducey. Have your late morning coffee with me each weekday morning from 10 to 11:30 here on the big bright sound of WGY Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy here at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, where the Phils are leading the Mets by a score of 4-0, and they're coming up in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Ron Taylor is making his 15th appearance of this season for the Mets, all in relief. He has a record of no wins and 2 losses. And Richie Allen is up to lead off. He had a triple high off the scoreboard in right center to drive in the first run of the game in the 1st inning. Since then, he grounded out second to first and popped out to second base. Taylor is the 4th Met pitcher of the night. The pitcher of record is starter Henley. Here is a swing and a drive to right, and Tommy Reynolds moves over to make the catch of the slicing line drive. 1 away. Bob Henley started this game for the Mets tonight, worked an inning and 2/3, was charged with 3 runs, 4 hits, struck out 2 and walked 2. Now Don Locke is coming up for the Phils. He had a home run, single, and struck out earlier. Batting average is .310 for the season. The pitch is low for a ball. 1-0. Phil's got 3 runs in the 1st inning and 1 in the 3rd to make it 4, and that's where we are as far as the score is concerned, 4-0. There's a swing and a high pop back, and Sullivan is chasing it near the field boxes, and it's going out of play. 1-1 now to Don Locke. Gene Oliver waiting around on deck. The largest crowd that the Phillies have had here this year was on an occasion when they played the New York Mets on opening night, April 14th. The crowd at 26,649. Here's a pitch low and away, and it's coming all the way back to the screen. 2-1 the lock. Strangely enough, last year's biggest crowd here at Connie Mack Stadium was also another occasion when the opponent was the New York Mets. It was a doubleheader played on August 21st. 36,625 turned out to see the twin bill between the Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. There's a swing and a foul ball off and out of play, and I think that occasion was that day, if I remember correctly. Two and two the count. Jack LeMahieu is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Mets. Bob Henley started, worked 1 2/3. Dick Selma worked 2 1/3. Dennehy worked an impressive 3 innings, and now it's Ron Taylor. Grant Jackson is up and throwing in the bullpen now for the Phillies. Here's a swing and a foul ball off and out of play. So the count holds at 2 and 2 with one man out and nobody on base. This is a 2-2 offering. And it's low and away for a ball. Counts out full at 3 and 2. Taylor goes back to the rosin bag. Now steps up on the rubber and he's ready. Here's a payoff pitch. Low, it's a walk. So Don Locke goes down to first.
This word just in, Councilman Raymond DiMatteo has defeated fellow councilman Dr. Fred Isabella in Schenectady's Democratic mayoral primary. The final vote, DiMatteo 2,409, Isabella 1,638. Details on the 11 o'clock news. Once again, DiMatteo has defeated Isabella.
One away, runner at first. Bottom half of the eighth with the Phils leading by a score of 4-0. Taylor's pitch is outside for a ball. On Thursday night, prior to the regularly scheduled game here between the Mets and the Phils, there will be a regular Eastern League game played starting at 5 p.m. between Reading and Elmira. I think we should ask Ralph Kiner to come out and scout that game as an alumnus of the Eastern League.
I'm from the class of 1943, Lindsay.
You can't hardly find them. Here's a 1-0 pitch with the runner going, and it's in for a strike. Grody's throw to second is kicked off the runner out into left center field, and Locke gets up, goes to third. Harrelson retrieves the ball. Stolen base and an error on the throw. The extra base must be accounted for in some manner. It is the third stolen base of Don Locke. Grody's throw was a good throw down there on the money, but hit the runner and kicked on out into left field. And so it goes as an error on the throw, allowing Locke to move to third. The pitch was in the strike zone, so it's 1-1 to Gene Oliver at the plate. I beg your pardon, Sullivan is the catcher. It was Sullivan's throw. He came on to relieve Grody, who started. So it is Sullivan who's charged with the error. Now with the infield in, the pitch is fouled back off the screen and out of play. One man out, runner at third. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Gene Oliver. Ron Taylor working in relief. Mets with the infield end to try to choke off the possible run at the plate. The Phils lead 4-0. Taylor's pitch swung on and hit high into the air, back to second. Harrelson retreats out there. He's underneath and waiting, makes the catch, and Locke holds up at third. He did not tag. He came down the line a few feet, ready to advance. 2 away. Wasn't deep enough to allow him to tag up. That'll bring up Johnny Callison.
Now, going back to the Eastern League, Lindsay, I'll never forget when Rip Collins came to me. He was our manager that year, and he said, "You've just sold your contract to the Pittsburgh Pirates." And I guess I wasn't a bit enthused by it at the time. I don't know why. Maybe I expected it. But he said, "Well, it's almost like going to the big leagues."
Yeah, to Rip, that might be just about the way he'd look at it. Now it's going to be an intentional walk issued to Johnny Callison. The pitch is outside for a ball. With a runner at third and 2 men out, Callison is being intentionally fouled. Cookie Rojas is on deck. A right-hand batter with an average of 204. Johnny Sullivan extends the glove now to move out. And it's ball 3. Sullivan back in. Assuming his position behind the base. There was a time when the catcher could just move out there and save for the 4 pitches, but that rule was changed to make him move out on each pitch. So it is ball 4, and Callison has been issued the intentional walk. Goes to first, Locke holds at third, and Rojas comes up. Phillies have 4 runs, 7 hits. Mets have no runs, and they have only 1 hit off Larry Jackson. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Von Taylor up and set. The pitch is in for a called strike to Cookie Rojas. Don Shaw is up and throwing again in the Met bullpen. Now again, runners leading first and third with 2 away. Pitch is in for a call, strike 2. Sullivan walks out in front of the plate. Out about halfway to the mound. Tosses the ball on to Ron Taylor. Locke at third, Callison at first. Two-strike delivery. Swung on it on the ground to third. Boyer's up with it. He goes to Buchek at second for the force that retires the side. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 2 walks and 2 left. Score at the end of 8 full innings is the Phillies 4 and the Mets nothing.
October 10th, 1913, the Panama Canal. For centuries, seamen risked life and cargo sailing 10,000 miles round the Horn between the Atlantic and Pacific. Yet at Panama, only 50 miles of jungle separate the oceans. In 1880, the French attempt to build a canal, but failed. In 1906, the United States decides to try. Colonel W.C. Gorgas, Army Medical Corps, fights dread tropical diseases devastating the workers, while Major George Goethals of the Army Engineers combats steaming jungles, rock-encrusted terrain, cave-in after cave-in. Then, after 7 years, President Wilson presses the special key and the Atlantic and Pacific are joined. As an officer in the United States Army,
we're going now to the top half of the 9th inning. Larry Jackson on the mound with a 1-hitter going to the 9th. He has had 1 hitter in his major league career while pitching for the Chicago Cubs against the Cincinnati Reds on June 30th, 1964. Johnny Sullivan is up now for the Mets. Been up 1 time, grounded out second to first. Jackson deals a pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. The lone Met hit to this point was a double by Tommy Davis, leading off the 2nd inning. It was off the base of the scoreboard in right center field. Davis moved on to third on an infield out and died there when Buchek was a strikeout victim. Swinging a ground ball toward second. Rojas is up and on to first baseman Tony Taylor, and there's 1 away. Now Bud Harrelson, he's nothing for 3. Fly to left, grounded out short to first, grounded out second to first. Jackson has struck out 4 and walked 1. Mets have had only 3 base runners in the ball game. Davis on the double. Tommy Reynolds on a walk in the 5th. Then Buchek hit a ground ball that forced Reynolds and was himself safe at first on an error when Tony Taylor dropped the ball. Pitch is high and away to Harrison. It's ball 1. The 1-0 pitch by Larry Jackson. In for a called strike. It's 1-1. Since Buchek got a life when Taylor dropped the ball in the fifth, Jackson has retired 11 consecutive batters. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled out to the left side, out of play. It's 1-2 now to Bud Harrelson. Larry Jackson is 36 years of age. He was the first pitcher in the National League ever to notch a win against the New York Mets when he beat them in St. Louis for the Cardinals on the night of April 11th, 1962. 1-2 pitch, and a tie for a ball, 2-2. Coming into tonight's game, Larry Jackson had a lifetime record against the Mets of 17 victories and no losses. 2-2 pitch. In there for a call, strike three, and Harrelson turns on his heel and walks toward the dugout. Strikeout number 5 for Jackson, 2 away for the Mets in the ninth inning. And Cleon Jones is coming up. Grounded out short to first, fouled out to first, and tried to bunt his way on into sixth and went out pitcher to first. A strong pitching performance for Larry Jackson. The strongest against the New York Mets. Here's a pitch high for a ball. Because of his other 17 victories over the Mets without a loss, none were one-hitters. The return throw from Oliver goes over the head of Larry Jackson all the way out into center field. It's retrieved out there now by Don Locke. Count is ball 1 to Cleon Jones. A 1-0 delivery, and it's in for a called strike. Tomorrow night, Jim Bunning will be doing the pitching for the Phillies against the Mets' Jack Fisher. Two away and nobody on base. 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled off right down into the dirty throws a few feet away, and Gene Oliver retrieves it. The count goes to 1-2 on Cleon Jones.
Mets beat Bunning for the first time in Shea Stadium this year.
They did indeed. Bunning had a strong record at Shea Stadium, including a perfect game pitched there on Father's Day of 1964. Cleon Jones is saying a word to umpire Tony Vincent. Jones reaches down for a handful of dirt, measures his stance, and steps back out of the batter's box. Now comes back in again. Here's a pitch swung out and missed, and the ball game is over. Larry Jackson with his 6th strikeout gets Cleon Jones, and it's a one-hitter for Jackson. His catcher, Gene Oliver, walks over to congratulate him. Gene Mott comes out of the dugout to shake his hand, and the Philadelphia Phillies have shut the Mets out on a one-hitter. The score 4-0. Larry Jackson now has a lifetime record against the Mets of 18 wins and no losses. In the top half of the ninth inning, the Mets went down in order, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. We'll be back in a moment with a final summary and totals. Right now, the final score of the game is the Phils 4 and the Mets nothing. Now, here's a word from Rheingold.
Bacon and tomato white on.
P.T. White.
Sliced it in half.
Shout it out.
Liver worst rye to go.
Liver worst rye to go.
A toasted bun.
Toasted barbecue. Elsie, pick 'em up, please. Charlotte, you got a 3 waiting. Come on, girls. Pick 'em up. They're starting to move themselves.
In New York, you've got to be able to dish it out. If you're going to make it, you've got to be good.
Yeah, have to be an interpreter. You got to be a handwriting analysis. I got a reputation here, and I push out a good food, you know. I try to be tops, because everything in New York is big, you know. It's even though my place is not the biggest restaurant in New York, I feel like it's a big-time place. I have good meats and good breadstuffs, and you gotta be good to make it in New York. Take, for instance, beer. You come to figure it out, there's an awful lot of beer sold in New York, and there's only one beer that really made it, Rheingold. Most everyone wants a Rheingold.
Rheingold. In this town, either you have it or you don't.
Here at Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia, the Phils have defeated the New York Mets by a score of 4-0. And to tell you something of how they did it, here's Ralph Kiner.
Well, you'd have to say it might be the jinx of Larry Jackson, because Larry now has defeated the Mets 18 times. The first loss the Mets ever received when they started back in 1962 was to Larry Jackson when he was pitching with the St. Louis Cardinals. Mets have never picked up a win against him, and here again, he pitched one of the strongest ball games you'll see, at least if you're a Met fan, against the Mets. And he pitched a one-hitter and a one-base hit going to Tommy Davis, a double off the outfield scoreboard that was just above the reach of Johnny Callison as he came over to try and make a big catch. And that came in the second inning. Philadelphia Phillies wrapped up the ball game from the standpoint of looking backwards in the first inning when Tony Taylor singled to center field off starting pitcher Bob Henley, who was making his first start for the Mets. After Gary Sutherland had struck out, he was called out on strikes. Richie Allen doubled high off the scoreboard on the center field side of the end of the scoreboard. A tremendous drive to drive in the first run of the ball game. Then Don Locke came up to get his 6th home run of the year with Richie Allen on at second base to make it a 3-0 ball game. The Phillies added one more run in the third inning on a single by Don Locke and a double by Gene Oliver off the scoreboard and a great drive by Don Locke at home plate to evade the tag by Jerry Grody. And it was the slide that got him on through. That made it 4-0, and that's the way it stood all the way through the ball game. Larry Jackson has pitched one other one-hitter. That was on June 30th, 1964, when he was with the Chicago Cubs. It was against the Cincinnati Reds. We'll be back with more about the Mets in just one moment.
New York Mets baseball has been brought to you by Rheingold Beer as another in his continuing parade of major sports events. It's their way of saying thank you for making Rheingold New York's largest selling beer. Rheingold, either you have it or you don't, and Rheingold's got it. New York Mets baseball was also brought to you by Armory Garage, central at Colvin in Albany. The man who can move you up to luxury at a price you can afford.